Hi, everyone's in breakout rooms right now. And the question is, what is a food that carries fond memories for you? So I'm just going to send you into a breakout room. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. See you. Hey, Lindsay. Everybody's in breakout rooms right now, so I'm going to put you in one. The question is, what is a food that carries fond memories for you?
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Yeah, sorry to immediately
Oh, that's
put you
okay.
into a breakout room. All right, I think you should be getting an invite.
Our group was done.
Oh,
So
great.
we just came back.
Yeah, I was like trying to give people a little bit of extra time to come in, but I think it's a light week attendance wise because of Thanksgiving.
Yeah. And all of policy is in the hearing, and
True.
decolonizing met earlier. And so they all had
Right.
conflicts tonight. So it is a smaller group.
Okay. So I'm just gonna broadcast one more minute. Because I don't want to interrupt people, but I feel like if you guys are done, then
Well,
other
Margaret um eats to live. She doesn't live to eat. And I was like, that's like the exact opposite of my life. So
yeah, I think yeah. The times in my life when I have had food restrictions have been very difficult for me. Theoretically, in I'm in my like 30 days thing. So in 30 days or in less than 30 days, I won't even have to worry about it anymore. So, yeah. Okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna bring everyone back. That's all. All right, it looks like we're waiting for a couple more rooms to exit. All right, fabulous. We only have one room that's waiting until the very last second. Welcome back, everyone. Today, before we go into our subcommittee breakouts, we're going to have a presentation that we have been trying to get on our schedule for so long. So we're so excited that this is finally happening. It's the Youth Action Board and Youth as Resources. And we're really, really excited to have them here today. Talk about important issues that youth in Baltimore are facing. And after their presentation, we are all going to have a chance to ask them some questions. So yeah, without further ado, take it away.
And oh, give me 1 second. Let me correct that.
Zoe, come here, please.
I'm sorry, that was funny. Don't forget to mute yourself if y'all not speaking right now. Hey y'all, me and Isaiah gonna introduce ourselves. Y'all sure already know us, but it's always good to introduce ourselves. But my name is Marcus Bentley. I am adult treasurer and secretary at YAR, Youth as Resources, and yes, I was on the board for 6 years. I'm gonna just say that.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. It's morning somewhere. That's my motto. That's how we're gonna live. So my name is Isaiah Gray. He, him, his pronouns. I represent the Youth Action Board. Yeah, I've been doing the Youth Action Board for about 2 years. I got a couple of Youth Action Board members in here. Our chair Lola is here, so yeah.
You're not wrong about that. It is morning somewhere actually. But I also want to mention my colleagues that's in the Zoom room as well. And next, I will go to the next slide. All right. So I'll be telling y'all who's YAR, who's Youth as Resources. Youth as Resources is a youth-led nonprofit organization. We've give grants as well as working around year-round amongst our issue agenda. Our grants, we give grants to youth-led projects, also business enterprises. We give grants from $500 to $5,000. It used to be 37. Was it 37? I can't think of that number right now, but it's 500 to 5,000. We, as I was saying, that our issue. No, let me go to the board. My bad, y'all. Our board. We have a board of young people that is made up of 25 actually now. It's 25 now, right? Yeah, we have 25 board members now. Made of youth and young adults that's ages between 14 to 24. They're responsible for managing 2 grant cycles, one in the fall, one in the spring, as well as budgeting, making sure our program is ongoing, operating. As I was saying about issue agenda, we work around disability awareness, mental health, supporting efforts around youth homelessness, school climate clubs, and school police accountability. As you know, youth homelessness, supporting efforts around youth homelessness is one of our issues. So this is why one thing. I'm gonna pass it on to Isaiah for his brief overview.
And this is why we are here as well. So to deal with the youth homelessness side. Hello everybody. Again, my name is Isaiah Green. As I mentioned, I'm part of the Youth Action Board. Some of you wonder, hey, what is the Youth Action Board? I explain it to you. The Youth Action Board, roughly now we have, because we just recruited some new members, so kudos to us. Yeah. We now have 10 board members ages 16 to 24. We are a youth advocacy group through the Continuum of Care partner that is also partnered with Maryland Office of Homeless Services. We do certain things like take some of the funding that they get and we direct some of the fundings to organizations that assist with the youth that are dealing with housing instability or homelessness. We also do things like we go through youth outreach tours and we, go to different schools like Douglas, etc., and we give them resources and, different type of things to help them and strive them for success. So that's kind of a couple things that we're doing here. There's a lot more. You can come to us and contact us. We'll send all our information later. Info below. But what brings us to why we're here. So why are we here?
And you asked. So Yar and Yeb, we've been working together to create and carry out an organized plan to address the root cause of youth homelessness with an emphasis on youth ages 16 to 24. This is, why is it blocking that? That bar is blocking. All right. So this is what we've done in the past. With Yar and Yab this past summer, we've been working around youth homelessness. We had 27 youth and young adults that they've been facilitating around the topic of youth homelessness. We've interviewed many people, including youth home. My bad. Including youth. Oh my goodness! Please, I'm gonna calm down. Homeless and foster care liaison staff specialist at Baltimore City Public Schools, the director of Rose Street Community Center, the director and other leaders at Truth to Power, a case manager at St. Vincent de Paul of Baltimore, an attorney at the Homeless Representation Project, a compliance liaison for the Mayor's Office of Homelessness, the Youth Collaboration Coordinator at the at the Homeless Person Representation Project, and an outreach worker at Baltimore Safe Haven. We facilitated discussions with 148 people at six separate sites. Even some were identified as current or formerly unstably housed. And here are some questions we've been asking. We've been asking in our facilitations. I won't be reading them, but you can read to yourselves.
Take some time to read to yourselves over the questions.
Also, because some people are watching on their phones, you might want to read things because not everybody can read the slides.
You got a point. I hope it doesn't go into our time. If you were mayor of Baltimore for a day, what is the first thing you would do to address youth homelessness? That's our first question. Our next one, why are some young people homeless? What caused youth homelessness? What are some reasons a young person may not live with a parent or guardian, including DSS? and or foster care. If a young person was homeless, what do you think they would need? How would you try to help them? Um, are are there systems and resources in place to address youth homelessness? What are they, and are they working? Um, what systems and resources need to be in place to address youth homelessness? What should the city of Baltimore mayor do to address youth homelessness? I need to say something else. What about the school system? And the last question is, what should our next steps be? What are some demands we can make to the mayor, school system, etc.? What else do you think would support this? Who are our opponents? All right. And here are some of the we've analyzed 22 pages of data, and here are some of the recommendations that was produced. I'm sorry, this is really blocking. All right, we said a lot. There's a lot of information we gathered as well. So far, next up, we've been working with YAB to make our decisions. We even asked ourselves, in quotation marks, what would make the most difference in considering our current connections and capacity? Which demands might be easiest to implement? This is what we thought about when we've decided our demands. We've came up with 3 of them, and I mean, there's a lot of hope to this. We believe we can do this, especially with everybody that's on our side. And thank y'all for being on our side. All your help is appreciated. And here next is our demands, and I'll pass it on to Isaiah.
So our first demand obviously was Baltimore City public school system identifies and trans youth homelessness liaison at schools. Liaisons could be trusted adults and student ambassadors. So we have a couple questions for those. I'm gonna quickly go by. Is there any training available like this available? So where? What should be included in these type of trainings? What should the strategies be? When and where could we provide this training? Who should we train?
Just so you know, these questions will be asked in the smaller breakout rooms. These are the questions that we've wanted to ask y'all, but we won't be able to have the discussion right now. And I'll go to the second demand.
So our second demand is the Baltimore City public school system creates a public high school with housing and other opportunities for homeless youth, including opportunities to generate income. So the questions we will have for those was, what should the schools like this consist of? The structure, actual space, resources like that. Another question we have is, how do we go about this? How do we do it? Another question is, who has all the power to make this happen? Who can pay for it? And our last demand, which is all 3 of them is very important, by the way, just letting y'all know. Create a resource guide for youth experience homelessness. So the questions we had for those was, what should be included? Where can we distribute it? Who can help support this? That being said, any thoughts? Next questions.
I guess this is the time for questions, if anybody have any questions and such. Also, just Julie's email down below, so if y'all have any resources to give us so we can add to our list. Anything else? Any more questions? If you can't think of a question now, you can definitely email Julie.
So it's not so much of a question, but I'm really curious to see if you guys could go back to the recommendation slide. Oh, sorry, I said that right before you stopped screen sharing. The recommendation slide, because I think there were a lot of great things on there. And I'm curious if you could talk through a couple of them.
Give me 1 second. All right. This one.
Mhm.
No.
No.
That one?
Are you talking about this one?
Yeah, I was talking about that one.
I knew she was.
And who specifically do you think should be I mean, besides just it being done, are there groups or things you mentioned talking to people in the schools and other groups? Who do you think should be taking lead? Not that more people shouldn't be involved, but have you identified groups or organizations or agencies that you think should be taking the lead on some of your specific recommendations?
Oh, okay.
I heard
So
you said something. That's why. My bad.
you go first.
No, go ahead.
You go first.
I'm still thinking.
Okay. No, we talked to people like Chris. What's his name?
Chris Ryer.
Chris Ryer. With one of our demands that we have was try to get a school and not only just for them to go, not only for the youth who are homeless to go to school, but also to have a housing inside of that type of school. So we talked to Chris Ryder, and we got the chance to figure out, is this realistic? Who can we talk to? The type of contractors and all that type of nature. We also do things when it comes to like going to different schools. We talk to certain.
My bad, bro. My bad.
Oh, that's fine.
I thought that distracted you. I didn't see that.
We just talk. I say all that to say this. We have been talking to a lot of different groups and organizations to ask certain questions like, how do we move forward? What's our next plans? What's our next steps? That's how we do it. We go to a bunch of different organizations and different people, and we're still going. We're still learning. We're still growing. So we also come to you guys and ask any more resources that y'all have or anything like that. We would love to talk with you guys and get some of that, so that way we can develop.
I don't have like a particular resource, but a thought I just had. I was just curious if you guys are like connected with like people in city government who control the money, control where it goes, control the funding to schools. Because I feel like that's what a lot of this comes down to, is like funding and resources and money. And I was just curious if you all had connections there, or I don't know if I don't know, Zeke's not here. I don't know if Zeke's here today. But yeah, if that would be a helpful next step.
That's definitely a good next step.
Thank you.
So
Right,
I
another
have a
question?
question for y'all. I was looking at where is it? Like number 3 and a lot of the stuff around school, and training for teachers and folks in schools. And I'm really curious what your thinking is around, because by the way, I agree, absolutely, 100%. School is a place we could be really helping with a lot of this. What is it that y'all and folks that you're talking to would like for teachers to know, that, like, if you were going to develop a training for them, what kinds of things would you want to be in the training? Like, where do you think the disconnect, or what they're not understanding?
Yeah, we develop a curriculum, but that just want to let you know that these recommendations, they wasn't like finalized. The 3 that Isaiah had named off, those are our main focus. But
that's
we did.
recommendation 1.
It is recommendation 1.
Mm.
It is. It also corresponds to the liaison.
Yeah, that's what it is.
This one right here. Basically identifying youth homelessness liaisons, so like people that can adults that and student ambassadors that can be trusted and throughout the school, making sure that they have access to the resources and knowing that that people are there for them. Did that answer your question?
can I jump in really quick? I'm sorry. I know this isn't my presentation,
That's Lola.
but just
Please.
to add a little clarity, a lot of teachers and counselors and staff at schools don't know how to spot and identify youth that are unstably housed or homeless altogether. A lot of youth have a fear of, telling teachers and people like that they are homeless, in fear of going to foster care, shelters, or it just is like a taboo around it. Or a lot of parents don't know how to, are scared to reach out to schools. You wouldn't think that a school would be a resource. If you're a parent and you have a child and are experiencing instability, I know that was my personal experience in high school. So just to make sure that it is publicized and it does become a part of public school like curriculum, and there is a person on staff that would be able to help parents and as well as youth who may not want to be housed with their guardians, to find resources to help them become stably housed. So that it's just you'll notice things. There are tellers, and you would be training how to approach and make that connection, as well as to like inform youth. Like, you won't automatically have to go into foster care, or you won't be taken. People are scared that people are going to get in trouble, arrested, and sometimes that isn't the case. You just want a sense of independency. And that can be anywhere from the age of 12, 13 to 16, 18. And to have that option to be independent and, maybe get emancipated, et cetera, whatever the case might be, that's how that training would go, to know how to spot the signs, know how to approach youth and or parents or guardians, and know how to navigate that without making people feel like they can't reach out for help, or maybe in a case where they might be arrested or something like that, have to do something legally or get other kids taken away, lose custody of. So all of I don't want to say the nuances are like the taboo around it, but if you have someone who is educated in how to approach and how to connect people with resources, it provides a better community.
Thank you, Lola.
Yeah, thank you. That's also a great point to put out, because that's what we generally look for, both the yard and and actually throughout whole continuum of care. That's what we basically look for, to make sure that everybody is aware of what's going on and be able to help and get that training. Hopefully we can get that training into to these folks, and that way moving forward everybody has that same page of, this person don't have to go through this being homeless, or this person is struggling, so let me put them on to resources. Hey, I got the training, and now I can help this person with that. Because the one thing that people don't notice, that hidden homeless is a stage of category, and being hidden, you could carry just like a book bag or something, and nobody would never notice. So we want to at least train them, at least to get them an idea, for them to understand what's going on and how to act and react to these situations. If that makes sense. Any other questions, comments, or concerns?
Also, really quick, I would like to this isn't the idea of having a school that houses youth isn't kind of something that's new. It's not so much far-fetched. If you think of like Job Corps or it would be like a college program, but for high school, or we say Hogwarts, or like a boarding school, but it would be you were a homeless youth, and or providing support to youth who stay with friends. I may be a parent that my son's best friend is not really safe at home, and I may let him or her live with me, but I may need extra support in my household for having an extra person, like things of that nature.
And if those of y'all that don't know, again, Lola is our chair, is the Youth Action Board's chair. So yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody knows, but just for those that don't know, that's just to give you an idea. Thank you again, Lola. Any other questions, comments, concerns?
Just to voice what people are saying in the chat, Delegate Boyce is saying, have you guys looked at the blueprint for Maryland's future?
No, but we definitely can take a look at it. But look at it right now.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna.
I'm wondering.
I just forwarded it, so whatever it can definitely be put on our next agenda. I just forwarded it to Adiola.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I can try to find some quote unquote cliff notes, but that's the bill. And some of the things that you are recommending may already be addressed per this education reform bill. And so looking at what that bill potentially addresses and how you may either advocate for it or help to enhance it.
On that topic, I still want to ask, anybody else have any other resources or anything like that that can help us, meet our goals for at least one out of the three demands, if not all three demands? Because honestly, this is something that this is our main reason to come to you guys. It's not only to get to know us, but also figure out what resource that we can use for better, for not only for us, but for others. Once we come across and build what we need to get.
All right.
What's that?
That's Julie's email. But Sasha, whenever y'all do have more resources, just email Julie.
Marcus is really the point person, but
No,
I'm Julie. I'm sitting beside here. But Marcus and Isaiah are sharing sort of the work group that does this, but I certainly can collect resources. And
I'm gonna put a few emails in the chat. I'm gonna put our YCC's email and Adiola's email if you wanna meet with the app, collaborate with the app, find out more about what we do just to make that connection. We actually did a presentation with Philip a month ago, 2 months ago, less than 2 months ago, at Johns Hopkins University. So if you want to reach out, figure out more what we do, stay in contact, invite us to something.
Speaking of schools, we also the other day we did as I mentioned earlier, we did a youth tour. We went to Douglas the other day, and got the chance to sit around and talk to the youth and get them to understand who we are and a bunch of different resources that they have. We also have someone which is new to our Youth Action Board. His name DeMel. He's also with St. Ambrose. We got the chance for him to connect with one of the youth and help them. So yeah, it's a lot of different things that we've been doing. So if y'all really want to know more about the YAB, and even if more about the YAR as well, you got our emails, and contact us. Anything else? Anybody else say? Last call?
Any general impressions?
Well, I'm really appreciative that you guys could come here and give this presentation, because I think it's extremely important for us to be talking about this and thinking about resources that could be used. I'm wondering, Marcus and Isaiah, if you could put your emails in the chat when you get a chance, so people have them. And yeah, I'm seeing some gratitude in the chat. Thank you so much, both of you.
Yeah, put Torrance in first.
Oh my goodness.
And you may have this, but I just dropped the link for the National Center for Homeless Education into the chat. They do have some resources and like things to help improve the awareness of the McKinney-Vento Act, some tip sheets for educators. So you might find some things on there that are also helpful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll
And,
be back.
and also, if you have material that you want besides the presentation, but there may be other material you've gotten that you want to disseminate to the members of the task force, if you just sort of send it, Anne or Franny or someone will make sure it goes out with the notes from the meeting, so that people can have the more detailed material you've already put together.
Thank you. That would be very much appreciated.
Great. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna have youth stay in this main room. So the youth subcommittee will stay in the main room, and I'm going to open up 2 more breakout rooms, medical and training. And you should be able now to see at the bottom and select a breakout room, I think. I always get nervous whenever I do this.
How come Lydell's name is Karima?
It worked for one person.
Lydell, you were here the whole time.
Seen his actual name earlier. I don't know who's Karima.
Yeah, I had to switch because
Oh.
I was on the phone to just check in, but we had to share a laptop. I'm like,
I thought Lydell changed his
I'm
name.
sorry, y'all. I want to make sure I still saw what y'all had to talk about.
What do you want us to call you?
Oh, I'm about to make everyone really annoyed because I'm going to close the breakout rooms because there's a subcommittee here that I did not know was here.
I appreciate the support, Lydell, as always.
Excuse me.
Y'all did the thing. Appreciate y'all coming.
Karima. Hey, Karima. Oh, it's me,
Everybody.
Judy, waving into nothing.
All right, yeah.
Are we supposed to be here, Franny?
Let me know, I guess, Franny, when it's just a youth group.
You guys go ahead. In 30 seconds, I'm gonna make an announcement that tells everyone they can rejoin their breakout rooms. I made too few breakout rooms, so that was my bad, but y'all take it away. Or if it's less disruptive, maybe we can wait. There's 10 more seconds and then people will be coming back. And then I'll send people out again. I apologize.
That's true.
Hey everyone, sorry about that. You can re-choose your rooms. I forgot to include the policy subcommittee. And youth committee, you can take it away now.
All
You're
right,
good.
cool. All right. So thank you for Youth Action Board and District Resources during your presentation in the main space. We wanted to make sure we start the Scout group discussion today with giving y'all some time, giving the group some time to give feedback or thoughts about next steps that we feel like we need to take, or requests from you all as well for the group. I guess I'll pass it back to Youth Action Board, and if you all want to step in for a moment and just let us know maybe what ways you would like us to support. Following up after this presentation, so we have some action steps. And or if the feedback to you all for Marcus and Isaiah.
You went out at your last part.
Oh, so the last part I just said, I'm gonna pass it to either Marcus, Isaiah, or Lola, or any one of y'all that might want to step in and just speak about like some action steps or next steps that you would like the youth committee to take make sure we move this forward.
The project for
Mhm.
Marcus.
What kind of support can we do?
I'm about to say, yeah, I was just about to ask, like, that was just literally, like, what support do you think y'all can give?
So yeah, I had a list of demands or the
You
20.
know what? We're gonna share our screen and bring this back
Yeah.
up. Yeah,
Yeah, I think if you could bring up the recommendations, then we could, you go through the ones that you think the committee might be most helpful or relevant for. So we could talk about what, how we can be helpful to you.
Oh, I gotta sneeze.
God bless you, my child, for you to see.
God dang it, stop my sneeze. Yeah, people, yeah, we try to go back to that presentation slide. Give us
Oh my
no,
goodness.
you went to, okay, there we go.
All right.
So, I guess, far as, I mean, I'm gonna say we were looking at, first off, far as trauma task force, we will first need to figure out, are there any training that y'all can like provide with us in any way possible, like for us to be able to train others, to get them understanding, to go dealing with trauma or anything like that, with that type of relations, any type of training y'all can give us for us that.
Okay. And the trainer training.
That'd be first, yeah. So kind of like how y'all doing your workshops, like how y'all did the last time y'all did workshops, but like more so in depth training on how should we approach youth that are dealing with homelessness, that are dealing with trauma, how to like put them, like help them get into programs where they kind of not getting complacent, but more so like getting comfortable enough to be around and to also be able to develop and grow.
So you want them to provide some content for the training you're developing?
Yeah, essentially.
So if there's any training content you have, Lydell or anybody else that you could provide so they could look it over and add it to their training, that would be great.
Yeah, I mean, there's not something developed, but I think that there's a discussion that can be had to be able to create that content for y'all to develop a workshop for folks.
So
And
they have, wait, how much of it, you have about an hour and a half of content already. So could they add to it? Is that what?
Talking
I think they can. We would have to ask.
What is it? Oh, give me 1 second.
So one thing so there is training that's going on that the task force has been responsible for and actually gotten funding to do, both the training related to in general, all the agency heads, the training that was done with the libraries, and now the training that's been done for Rec and Park. And so one question may be bringing that back to the group that was overseeing those trainings to identify, one, did they point out either specifically or in general issues related to homeless and homeless youth? And two, can some of the training that's being provided, because I know certainly some of the training that related with the librarians dealt with how to deal with homeless individuals. That was one of the things that was covered, because a number of homeless people go into the libraries during the day because it's a place they can go. So I think following up with the task force and the staff who was, or the contractors that were hired to do the training, to see, one, what they were doing, particularly around homeless, and two, would they be available to provide some of the training to the groups that were just mentioned. Might be, it might be the Youth Action Board and Youth as Resources could be a specific next step that we could potentially undertake.
Do you want them to review your training?
Yeah, we can do that. The curriculum training. Give me 1 second, please.
One second.
it's a contact here at the library we could check with on that. Or do you already know a person?
No, not right now.
Not right now.
No, just in general.
Oh.
Because it's not even done.
Yeah, it's not done, but we're still touching it up currently. Doesn't hurt the show, but it's not done just yet. But we can show it in the future. Show it to y'all in the future though. It's completed.
Like the training you have so far?
Yeah.
Could you review it,
Yep.
Lydell?
I think that'd be a good idea.
Okay.
We like schedule this follow-up session to just
Yeah.
bring all the folks that can help with that curriculum a little bit further.
Yeah.
Make sure you have your activities ready.
Yeah. How much do you think you have done? Like that's 3/4, right?
And Donna, who's on this, at least I see her on, may have some more specific thoughts about the training, because I think she's been more involved with some of those activities.
Yeah, I was listening and I didn't quite catch the question. I heard libraries and I was just waiting. I am multitasking. I'm not going to tell a story. So what was the question that you needed?
The question was whether what training exists on how to deal with trauma in general, and particularly trauma that's being experienced by homeless people. And I just raised, because a number of homeless people do use the libraries, that it might have been brought up with that group, so that you or some of the other people that did some of those trainings, as well as just the other trainings of the leaders, the department heads and other things. We're just wondering whether the issues related to homeless specifically were drawn up, as well as some of the more general things still also might be relevant for the people, for the Youth as Resources and the Youth Action Board, who are working on meeting with homeless individuals.
That was like 3-part question. Well, initially when we did the trauma informed training, the library was the first place, of course, to be trained. So the library is the most trusted institution, I believe, in the state of Maryland. I mean, like, period. Like, people trust the library because they go into the library because it's a sanctuary. When it's cold out, they come in for heat, et cetera, et cetera. So yes, a lot of homeless people coming into the library, and it definitely has ramped up. Hi, everyone. My name is Donna Bruce. I am a registered peer supervisor for Enoch Pratt Library for the peer navigation program. The peer navigation program provides resources for persons coming into the library that experience homelessness, food insecurity, substance use, mental health disorders, and the peer navigation program just guide them to those resources. So we're right there on the spot. We do Narcan training. We link them to social workers. We link them to lawyers in the library and community partners. So there are 2 types of trainings. So I did extensive training to become a certified peer recovery supervisor, meaning that I learned specifically what ethical boundaries, motivational interviewing. So that's a different set of training that I have. But in regards to the trauma-informed training that the library had, it was just general. I can't really speak on it because I wasn't there, but the librarians were trained in trauma-informed practices to be aware of what exactly trauma looked like when a person come into the library, opposed to, having them removed out the library. So I don't know if that answered your question, but we have the teen section. So at a certain time in the library, we cut off where the adults cannot go into the teen section. And what I've been noticing in the library is there's one particular young lady that we all know her, and she sleeps at the computer. So there's something that's going on with this young person. When she get out of school, she has a backpack and she goes to the computer and she lays her head down and go to sleep. So we don't bother her, but, and this is a barrier for me. Now, I'm cordial with her, but because she's a minor, I can't approach to find out what's happening at home, why she don't want to go home. But these are some of the things that are happening with the younger people that come into the library. And of course, they need to be redirected all the time. Not all the time, but a lot of times I can redirect them. You know, they come in, they're loud. They want to plug in the phone. They want to play the game. It's groups and groups of them, right? So, you know, I'm personally trying to figure out a way to have a young person in the library who's trained in trauma informed that can actually have a conversation, because right now I can't cross those boundaries because she is a minor, right? And I don't know if this has anything to do with anything, but I figured this is a great place to kind of raise those questions, those I don't know what to call it, flags or whatever. But we can definitely connect you to Healing City to get some type of training. So Marcus and Isaiah, is that what you were asking for training?
Yes. Yes.
I hope I answered your question and then some.
I have a question.
And thank you for your presentation as well. I appreciate that.
First off, I appreciate it. Just us being here is letting us know we're one step closer to trying to get our conference goals done. And that's what we're trying to do. But I do have a question for the Healing City Summit. Because I know I did with Art with the Heart. Was that, didn't that just pass?
The only one that I know of that just passed was the Eliza Cummings Healing City Trauma Informed Care Act, and that actually just passed after that shooting at Douglas High School. So that was passed into law that all state agencies become trained in trauma informed practices. If we're speaking about the only thing, if we're speaking about the same thing, but it's the Elijah Cummings Healing City Act that was the law.
Okay.
So
the representative also came up in the early, the state passed some legislation that actually includes a substantial amount of money for schools. And that some of the areas that were specifically mentioned in the legislation was the need for more resources and different servings for homeless students. So I think the delegate raised that as something to look at. Obviously, the legislation didn't include the authorizations, but there was some money that was authorized this past year. And as the legislature kicks in, starting I think the second week in January, some of the advocacy efforts or just informational efforts to make sure that there's optimal services, or even recognizing the opportunities, because a lot of times through your committees and other things, and the same thing's true with a lot of the work that Donna's doing, we have these assets in Baltimore City or other places that don't get the resources, and so we have a lot of inefficiencies. And I think given that there's a substantial amount of funds coming into the city and all the other jurisdictions, it wasn't just a city legislation, it was state legislations, but they definitely do mention homeless students and the special needs of homeless students in there. I think that, as the delegate said, there may be a very appropriate opportunity, and even opportunities for some of the hearings to provide some of the information that you found out and some of the specific suggestions that then could turn into next year's authorizations as the legislation looks at money to use next fiscal year, July 1.
So this is me, Julie. I had two questions.
I can't. Who that is?
One is what I'm hearing from the group, both the youth committee, Lydell, and
Julie, nobody can really hear you. Can you come closer to the mic a little bit?
I mean, I might not be gorgeous enough to get on camera. I am though. So I had two questions. One is, see, here I am. I had two questions. One is what I'm hearing from everybody is that Yab and Yar, with our project, we would like some more training. And oh, I'm beautiful. Thank you, sweetie. And also, we would like to show you the training that's being developed so that you can let us know what you think of it, because you all have a lot of expertise in that. Is that correct? In terms of the strategy and how we'll share resources? Yeah. Okay, silence, I'm gonna take this. And then the other question was just to Miss Donna. If a young person was sleeping in the library, why can't you go up to them, particularly when they wake up, and say, hey, is everything okay? I'm just, I was a little confused. I know it's not because you don't have a caring heart, because I know you do.
Well, of course, I engage her. She knows who I am and she knows my name. But through my training, I know that there's something more.
Right.
And in that, I don't feel. What do you want? And in that, I think I just feel it. Through my training, I just can't engage on that level. Because what I don't want to do is trigger something and open up something and don't have a resource there immediately to handle it, if that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. I just was trying to get clarity and inform my own work, right? Because, we all want to say, hey, like we care so much, right? So that just, I was just wondering. Thank you so much.
For my training, it's so obvious that it's something else. And, of course, you know who I am and I'll speak and have you day and how was school? Do you need help on the computer? Small things. Right. I've been doing this work so long. It's like, I cannot engage her on that level and not have a licensed somebody there to assist in that need. So and if you've been doing the work, you kind of know, like,
yeah, it's intuitive.
Yes, it's something bigger than
I got you.
Handle. But I'm glad to see her when she comes through the door. So it's like when I see her, I'm like, okay, she's safe for this amount of time.
I got you. Thank you.
I'm sorry. What location is that? What library?
So right now we're at Pennsylvania North Avenue. You guys are more than welcome to come up and hang out with me and help me with these young people.
The one right across from the CVS?
Yes, and it's from 2.
Okay.
So we open up that side from 2:30 to 6. And I just kind of hang out back there to, assist them. I hang out everywhere in the library and, make sure I shuffle all the adults out on that side. So, yes, who am I talking to? Who said they're coming? Because I'm looking for
Lola, I'm sorry.
I'm looking for you tomorrow.
Well, don't look for me tomorrow. I got a doctor's appointment tomorrow. But I do want to collaborate and have the YAB come out there. I'm sorry, I'm eating my dinner. And, give you some resources. And we have
please do.
We've been working on what are we calling a resource list, a guide, the list, contact list.
Absolutely. That would be so.
And, just to have that connection. So, and maybe work on developing, because the first thing I thought when you said that, like you said, is having a youth or young adult that works at all libraries in Baltimore City that, is connected to resources and know how to spot homeless youth. And that we have just developed a whole job description.
Well, guess what? I take volunteers all the time. I'm going to drop my email address in the chat. And I'm also going to drop my number. And please take it and please give me a call probably after Thanksgiving. But I'm there Monday through Friday from 10 to 4.
Yeah.
Can you guys see it?
Yep. We can see your number.
Yeah.
Email.
Yeah, we got your number and your email.
Perfect.
And as well as I do want to point out what Mr. Phil said in the chat. He said that we was going to set up a next meeting about training to hear more. So
that training to identify when I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
No, you're good.
I would like to have definitely more information and learning different signs of what the need is for particularly youth as well. So let's collaborate.
It sounds like they could do a drive.
Yes, Phil.
Get feedback, maybe? Is that a good idea? Like, if you want, when you're done with the training, you could do a dry run here. Get feedback
to
and
that
take it into the
point, I don't know if folks.
Y'all not on mute.
Oh, you okay? Yeah, I'm
sorry.
But I was gonna say to Phil's point in the chat, like definitely after the meeting we had with like Zeke, I think last week, it was just we were talking about making more of a focus on the rec centers, but I think that all those rec centers should make sure that they have resources to address like what y'all are bringing up in this presentation. Like everything.
Okay.
Did we, I know we have a few more things on our agenda. I just want to make sure that y'all felt like y'all had everything addressed there. We got some next steps around youth homelessness. It sounds like some folks might reach out to Donna, Rolla, and some others might reach out to Donna for sharing some services out there to support with those young people. Sounds like we're also Yab and Yar. Y'all might reach back out to the group and let us know when to host the train, like a conversation around the training. Like, is that right? And I guess you'll let us know when. I think we should like maybe more firm follow up, or like who's gonna follow up.
Young people are going to follow up with me. I would like, please. And you said something about Zeke. What did you need from Zeke?
So yeah, the young people are gonna follow up with you, and then as far as the that was like a kind of tangent comment about Zeke. We basically had a conversation last week where we were trying to get an idea, or they were trying to get an idea of what each community is focusing on, and we mentioned that we're focusing on like healing centers and like that being like the rec centers, and we kind of identified some other spaces, like libraries, other spaces where you are at, and just making sure that they have the resources that youth are supported and their other programs or anything like that. Last thing I was mentioning was that to Yab and Yar, you all mentioned wanting support with like a train the trainer kind of training. And kind of like Donna had some materials for that. But do y'all want to set a date, or should we set like a future trauma-informed care task force meeting to on that? What would y'all like?
Oh, that sounds good.
That sounds like a good idea. We're
Is it
contact.
a
We'll keep
task force
contact.
thing, or is it a?
So at a task force meeting, or y'all are gonna follow up about it outside time?
Oh, like our task force or your task force?
If we use
No, they
this task
basically
force,
asked us, do you want us to do either one or the other?
it sounded like it sounded like y'all had like a training that was in progress. And y'all needed some additional eyes or some support to finish preparing it.
That's what I was trying to get.
Y'all want to use this time at like another bi-weekly time during the this task force? It's on that, or do you want us to come out to another meeting like outside of this time?
I think coming outside to another meeting would be best.
Can we also do both? Hear me out.
Yeah.
Because hear me out. That's the reason why I'm saying both. The reason why I'm saying both is because of the fact that we can also do y'all can train us and give us like a blueprint of how things should be ran and things like that, and other resources. And if y'all do have other resources that we create, we finalize it and then use the time to like do a dry run, I guess, to you guys and to the actual task force, and see, you know, is that something that is good enough for us to train others with?
I love that idea.
Does that sound like a plan to you guys?
I like it.
Okay. Thank you, Tori.
Says I agree.
Which was that?
I agree with us being trained as well as getting feedback on ours. Thank you. That is what I was trying to get.
So Lydell, you can come train us, right?
I could contribute to the conversation, and I think Donna sounds like has like the training that y'all really look at.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll definitely come through the conversation.
Well, my training came from the Maryland Addiction Behavioral Health Board. So that's separate from the trauma informed, but I can come and do Narcan training with you guys, where you guys can actually go and do Narcan training. I can do that for you.
Question.
Are you familiar with Narcan?
Oh, Narcan. Oh,
I'm sorry, I put it
Yeah,
right.
because our youth are overdosing at a high rate. So I'll be more than open to come to your organization and do a corporate, you gather everybody on a specific date.
Yeah.
I will
More
come
the better.
My
Can we
team-
make that up like that
You're doing
we
CPR?
partner in doing that like maybe annually or every 6 months or so whenever we need it. That way our youth on our boards can be narcotic trained.
Well, actually, once I do maybe specifically a trainer with your ambassadors,
Mhm.
then your ambassadors in turn will receive a certification to be able to train everyone else that comes through the organization. So we are approved through the opioid response program. So it is certified through through the state of Maryland to be able to train you. And then you can become a trainers yourselves. How about that?
I like that, but if you didn't want to come see us 2 times a year, you could have just said that. You could have just said that.
Oh, no, I'm trying to make you fully self-sufficient in all areas, not lacking in anything. Because I'm not going to be here forever. So I made it.
I like that. But I'm going to leave my organization. It's going to be a point in time where I leave.
That's right. That's why I got to train you up so you can train somebody else up. But you guys have my information. Send me some dates after Thanksgiving. Some dates, and I will immediately come over there, and I can take care of that in my team.
That sounds like a great idea, and as well as Ladell, you can also try to give us some training on the side, and even so, Mr. Dr. Phil, if you can, Mr. Phil, I say Dr. Phil, Mr. Phil,
Yes,
he's a doctor, isn't he?
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, Dr. Phil. So like,
Phil,
You got a doctorate.
yeah, so you got a doctorate. So yeah, Dr. Phillip. But so yeah, so we can have all different. The more the better. So that way we can be fully prepared and fully set to go out and train others on a more professional enough level or professional level. Also.
Coordinate the dates.
Now, keep in mind, sometimes you might not have to be professional when you administer Narcan. You just got to jump in and do it. So be ready.
I know that's right.
I'm Narcan trained. I carry it with me.
Perfect. Who is that talking?
Julie.
We can never see you, Julie.
What'd you say?
We can hear you a little bit now, but we can never see you.
I'm sorry, because I'm not trying to sit on Marcus's lap. That would be really another kind of training. See, but so we're going to get trained, then we're going to finish the training that we've been creating and train you also. You can give us feedback, and we're going to get Narcan training. This sounds like a win. Win. You pushing it. Is that correct? We really appreciate it.
And actually, guys, I hop off. I got to jump on another meeting.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice meeting you guys. I got to be on, so I got to take a little 10-minute break for myself before I get on the other meeting. But please reach out to myself, and we will make that happen for you. I think that's all I have. Anyone else?
Thank you, Ms. Donna.
We haven't even eaten yet, and everybody's just quiet. Not even Thanksgiving yet.
I ate.
I just got done cooking, but I had to come all the way down here. But I cooked before I even came here.
I ate a stale half a muffin that's been in the yard refrigerator for a week. So yeah.
I only had breakfast. I barely even eat breakfast.
That's what I was gonna say last thing, but they asked me could I coordinate the dates for all of that. So Dr. Phil, Lydell, when we start to put dates on the calendar, I'll help bring all 3 groups together. Is that okay with everybody?
Yes.
And if you have some dates to put out now, since we're all here, we'll save 3 weeks if we could just throw out a date.
I got our calendars buried deep in this computer, so I promise I'll get it out soon.
While y'all looking for the date, do y'all mind if we check on these other agenda items before the end of the meeting?
All right, guys. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Be in touch, Lola. I see you on it. You sent me a text already.
All right.
You can't run from me.
C3PR. Have a good C3PR.
All right.
Thank you all. So the next two things on the agenda, we had a space here for updates on Parks and Recs. I don't know, on Parks and Rec survey. You on the line with us? No. All right. So we'll move that, and then the last part, which glad that you all are here for actually. So we're considering youth consultant positions here in the youth committee. We were given a budget and kind of slapdash come up with ideas about what it could go toward. And so the committee, the folks are available, decided that those should go to youth with the debate and workshops and or help lead the work that's going on in this task force. Essentially, we've identified a few different youth groups that we reach out to like apply for those positions. I'll list out these groups, and then if folks think that there are any other groups that should be mentioned to send out these applications to, we'll add them here to the list, as well as just think about any like criteria that we think that we should have for that application process, and also like what that work can and should look like. So to bring it back, we just want to check in about the groups that we already mentioned, and if there's any other groups that you think should be invited to this application, let us know. So far we have Youth Resources, Healing Youth Alliance, Heart Smiles, No Boundaries, Youth Action Board, Next Gen Scholars, and Den Education. Are there any other groups that?
Someone from the mayor's office of homelessness.
MOHS.
Right. So MOHS and that's through the Youth Action Board, by the way.
Right. Yeah, that's
Well, it's not through, but we work with them.
Yes, but no, but put MOHS on there because
I was about to say, yeah.
I think it would be like Irene.
And they're a young person, like, or
Do you have anyone from Let's Thrive Baltimore?
Let's Thrive.
Yeah.
Let's Thrive, add to the list. I just remembered Thread too. Oh no, got mentioned. Yeah, any other groups? All right, fishing, we're gonna keep it. If y'all come up with any other groups in the meantime, email it. That's fine. So this last part, we haven't really talked about like the criteria for how, like, who will accept. The only expectations we have so far are attending on task force meetings, which is about 3 hours every month because it's like bi-weekly, and then facilitating like the work group planning meetings. So like outside of this, this meeting right here, Mariel, Ryan, and I come together and Karima, and we all come together and plan out some of the like basically how this meeting is gonna go and like the agenda. And so we would pass that down to whoever the youth consultants are. And so considering like some of y'all in the room are some of the groups named and are young people or young people. And so I just would love to hear from you all, like, what kind of expectations, like what should that position look like? And how would it be useful for any of your groups as well? Because I think some things that we heard already, or some feedback we already gotten, was just, we don't want this to be another position or something that takes up more time, right? So I would also love to hear too, like, what are some ways that this position can also be useful for the different youth groups we're inviting into the space. So. Let me know if I need to reframe that question. I know I kind of like it.
Yeah, reframe that question if you don't mind.
Okay.
So I can understand it.
So we want to make sure that this position is useful for all the youth groups that are part of it and apply for it. And y'all are already familiar with the task force, you know the space and how it can be useful. We want to get an idea of like what should this position look like if there's four or so young people that were to be leading the work of the task position look like, keeping in mind like those will be paid young people from all of your separate organizations coming together to lead the task force.
Well, I'm one to say that I definitely stand behind seeing that a youth voice that matters is always a must. So, whether it's through anything and saying as though that they're gonna have any type of positions to help others deal with trauma, anything like that is a plus for me. What should I see? I honestly don't know, to be 100% honest. Only reason why I say that is because of the fact that, everybody has a different case when going through trauma. And I can say firsthand, my trauma it won't be the same as somebody else's. So I can only go case by case. So unless a person is like well rounded and knowing how to be able to adapt and overcome when it comes to each different case, that could be one of the things I could say should be put place. Keep it open minded, I guess, basically.
Are you asking us what it would be like to have a youth person in a paid position, or what their job description would be for the role you described?
More so the job description.
Oh,
What should that job description be?
I don't have an answer to that. I'm sorry.
So I think one thing that I'm not sure what the job description would be. I mean, I think it would be like any board, right? Monitoring and shaping the priorities, or shaping them. But maybe if what you're looking for is representatives from youth organizations, maybe you want to do it like fee for service, so that you have continual representation there. So like if, let's say Isaiah says he's going to represent from YAB, then if he ages out in a year, you have some continuation from that organization, if that makes sense. But you probably didn't hear me because we're talking.
You can hear her, right? Can y'all hear her?
No, sorry, we had some people in our background.
Well, yeah, so nobody else heard her?
No, what she say?
Bro.
You said a lot. I said maybe you want to do fee for service to the organizations that you want young people from, so that there's some continuation. So that if a young person after 6 months is no longer available, it's an organizational seat that so you would say, here's the expectation from the organization that you have representation at our meetings every month. And then if that person isn't available, the expectation is the organization fills a seat. And if the young people are paid through the organization, that would add to the pot of salary the organization has and be able to increase hours or whatnot.
Okay, so it'd be like so that young person be working on behalf of like their organization and essentially like raising funds for the organization, and also would contribute their salary, but also lead the work. Am I describing it accurately, or?
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't contribute to the organization, would just totally go to, like, sometimes we get asked to do something and we'll see who's available and they'll pay us and then we cut the check. So it would mean that there would be continuation from that organization if what you want is organizational seats, and there would also be coordination from the organization.
Okay. How do other groups on the call feel about like those being organizational rather than like youth? Like they'll be for young people, but rather than individual.
What do you think, Marcus? Because you're a young person, so would that work for you?
It works here. I mean, I think it works it'll work the same way. I mean, work well as well. Just
Okay.
what?
Any other groups on this? Basically, are and
I think it's just yarn.
Yeah, just yarn. Yeah, and
all right. What about the How y'all feel on that side? I think that.
oh, we got more people.
I mean, like I said, I agree with both of them. Like, it's a good idea.
All right, valid. All right. Any other thoughts? We're approaching the end of this. Any things that you want to ask, like the young people that are applying for that position, to make sure that they're prepared for the position?
I guess more so getting them familiar with different type of scenarios, if that makes sense. I mean, because at the end of the day, if they wanted to, be a part of this organization, be a part of that organization, they have to actually know the different types, the different stages, and in each different stages, what, how, who, what, when, where, how, and why. Different W's when it comes to each situation, each stage. That's basically it.
Could you clarify? Are you like asking what questions to ask, like interviewing them?
Yeah, upon them coming into the meeting, like upon them joining that, that into that position.
I mean, I guess you could ask them, like, get to know them, know who they are. Do they have any knowledge on what this organization is or so? Basically know that. Also get to understand what is their schedule and such like that. Get to know the person, and also let them get the chance to get to know y'all.
See if they know what trauma informed care is. A lot of times, a lot of people wouldn't understand, and even so, like some people that might not have, because you may never know, you may get somebody that might not have the experience, but also have like other key qualities that y'all might need to help y'all. So at least at the bare minimum, see like what other traits or qualities they can bring to your organization. It's just simple.
People don't necessarily have to have the content if they have the right.
Exactly.
That's what's up. Thank you. I think that's really helpful feedback. And then Ms. Christina, I see you got your hands up.
No problem.
Ms. Flowers.
I need to be, am I unmuted now?
Yes.
Awesome. Good evening. I'm sorry for my tardiness. I just immediately thought about the importance of engaging individuals that we want to serve. So that individual can have some experience of like engaging and interacting with the different homeless individuals on the streets. Of course, I know we work a lot in the encampments a lot of times. So I think that person should have some skills and some type of history with engaging, possibly even lived experience. If they had they probably was living as homeless once before. So yeah, but engagement is one of the most important components when you're interacting with people. So I think that should be something y'all look and see. How comfortable are they if they bust up in an encampment or they in the environment? How balanced are they around different personalities? So yeah, engagement is a very important piece.
Got you. So we got, I'll just read back some of the criteria we got so far. Thank you, Ms. Flowers. And, thank you, Gavin Yard. So on top of like attending the task force meetings and planning them, it sounds like that youth voice needs to matter, like have some kind of leverage. It sounds like the change things. That young person needs to be well-rounded at dealing with different types of issues. It sounds like different scenarios, like around trauma. Need to be open-minded. making it an organizational seat rather than a individual position. Getting the young person familiar again with the different trauma scenarios, and overall having an understanding of trauma-informed care. We should get to know them and they should get to know us. And so I guess kind of interaction with the panel, knowledge of, we should know their schedule and like make sure that they have experience engaging with the folks we want to serve. So like working with homeless individuals or young trauma. Anything else for the good of the group? And
You should find somebody, but I mean, I just want to throw it out there and let me know if anybody else will agree or not. Specifically, separately, find more mediators that can not only represent for you guys, not only for them to help others that come to you guys, but also be able that you can put out into other different groups. Like, let's say if the Yab and Yar had need some mediation and you guys have the training, you can send somebody down to be a mediator. They can also train others, and as well as be the actual mediator for that particular position. They can get exactly, so they can get compensated, and also make sure they be getting compensated for that as well.
that's perfect. All right, so we added mediators and like conflict resolution skills to this, and maybe training for it too. All right, I don't want to go way over the time. I do appreciate y'all staying on longer with us and all the dope feedback. We made a lot of good progress today, and hope to see y'all training, get developed, and everything too. And yeah, December 1st, I believe is next.
And on behalf of the task force, thank you so much for coming to present today. We really appreciate it and we learned a lot.
Thanks for having us.
We learned a lot from you.
All right. Good night, everyone. Is it okay if I end the Zoom? We good?
Yeah. Enjoy the rest of your morning.
All right. Good night.